Let's take you now to Boksburg in Ekurhuleni, where the ANC's highest decision-making body between conferences will gather for day 2 of its meetings today. Among other issues, they've been deliberating on contentions around Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana's budget, which is yet to be passed in Parliament. Vuyo Mvoko joins us live now from there. Vuyo, let's just talk about this, because if it's the budget that we're then going to be talking about as the most contentious issue, well, the Democratic Alliance has laid its cards bare and said we'll agree to a 0.5 percentage point VAT increase only if you give us a say in the economic circumstances of the country.
Yes, indeed, but you, of course, need to decode that. What exactly do economic growth enhancing mechanisms mean? Because in essence, as far as I understand, the Democratic Alliance is talking about the law that the president consented to, around expropriation of land without compensation. The Democratic Alliance is talking about the National Health Insurance Act. The Democratic Alliance is talking about Bella. Those are the 3 most contentious issues that it is putting on the table, of course, under that broad umbrella of growth-enhancing mechanisms that are going to advance the country. But of course, the biggest issue, if we were to lay it all bare, is the issue of the budget. Can the ANC galvanize or put together a group of political parties that will enable the government to pass Enoch Godongwana's budget? That really is the biggest issue. Right now, as things stand, it's a bit of a tall order, because you have, as you correctly point out, the Democratic Alliance that is making demands in exchange, for its votes. And between the ANC and the DA, that budget can pass. Whoever then gets to protest afterwards really can do so, but the budget will have passed. But can the ANC agree to the terms that the Democratic Alliance is making is the big question. But also remember that within the ANC itself, there is no unanimity. There are people within the ANC who are going to use the meeting that started an hour ago, and that's going to continue over the next couple of days, who believe that Enoch Godongwana is wrong to raise VAT, whether it's 0.5 or whether it's the 2% that was originally contemplated. There are people within the ANC National Executive who feel that there should be no VAT increase whatsoever. And they are so determined to make their voice heard in that meeting that started an hour ago or so.
Yeah, they also find themselves in between a rock and a hard place here, because yes, there is a unanimity within the ANC itself. But let's just say they were to agree that this is ultimately what they wanted, and they were able to somehow get the DA on their side as well as the ANC. Then they would be seen as a party that has now conspired with the DA to raise VAT by whatever proportion they choose to ultimately, which would really be a bad look for the ANC itself. Is this not a very tricky situation for them to try and get through? Uncharted territory, as it were.
The ANC is looking bad anyway, from the moment Enoch Godongwana walked into that marquee in Cape Town, ready to say we are going to increase VAT by 2%. That was the moment of embarrassment. Also because it caught ANC leaders themselves unaware. It was in a moment of embarrassment. So everything that flows from there really has been a question of the ANC trying to manage things, trying to emerge out of the situation with a bit of a semblance of some dignity. But it was embarrassing from the start. What they have to do now is convince themselves, their own membership, their own alliance partners, and so of course South Africa at large, that whatever position they emerge with out of this meeting that's currently taking place and that's going to continue over the next couple of days with a bit of a semblance of dignity as a party that cares about the people of South Africa. And a lot of people inside that room are determined to make sure that indeed they do come up with a position that at least, or at the very least, suggests that whatever may have happened, whatever boo-boos may have been committed, but going forward, they are a party that will be able to hold things together and take the country forward, and that whatever may have happened whatever happened, but going forward, they have a position that will at least mean or suggest to the people of South Africa that they are a party with integrity and they have what it takes to hold it together, even in times of crisis. It's going to be a tricky balancing act. Already, you have seen Enoch Godongwana, the Minister of Finance, who is also a minister, a member of the National Executive Committee, who at some point even led the Economic Transformation Committee of the ANC. You already seen him throwing the most senior partner in the GNU under the bus. That's the DA, because remember, he's the one who revealed before a parliamentary committee that the DA is ready to strike a deal, which goes some way towards salvaging the dignity, or whatever is left of the dignity of the ANC. Remember, the Democratic Alliance created an impression among South Africans that it is speaking for the poor, unlike the ANC. But if now it is prepared to agree to a 0.5% increase on VAT, then it throws that reputation that it built, some say overnight, out of the window. Because if it is prepared to endorse or champion what many people, certainly the ANC faithful, if it is prepared to say, look, your transformative laws that the president has put his signatures to, we are prepared to throw those out of the window and accept a 0.5% VAT, then it is undoing that which it began to do by saying no VAT increase whatsoever. But of course, a lot depends on what those people locked behind in that meeting that is currently ongoing now actually agreed to that, which is unlikely at this stage. It is unlikely that the National Executive Committee of the ANC will agree to your BELA, and all these three bills that the president consented to, that it will actually dispose of those. So this meeting, if any NEC meeting has ever been important, no meeting in recent times has been more important than the meeting that is currently taking place. But in the next hour, we are going to have a briefing from the ANC leadership about progress made so far.